what to do for a Manna moment. I have had so many, and I have seen from previous Manna moments just how abundantly God has just poured out into our lives. And for me, I think a moment that really stood out for me, and it has infiltrated just by His grace into all aspects of my life, from everyday things to huge big things. This Manna moment just has really just shaped me and will continue to shape me. And it wasn't a particularly hard time in my life. I just know I was seeking God in the area of contentment and just learning real contentment and joy and peace. And it was in a book, and I read, a heart that is content is a heart that rests in God's providence. And maybe I had, heard that word before, but it never really clicked, or I'd never really wanted to know what it was about. So I thought, that's quite a big word. What does that mean? So I started to unpack that word, and in the book, taken from the Heidelberg Catechism, they quote what providence means. And God's providence is His almighty and ever-present power, whereby, as with His hand, He still upholds heaven and earth and all creatures, and so governs them so that leaf and blade, rain and drought, fruitful and barren years, food and drink, health and sickness, riches and poverty, indeed all things, come to us not by chance, but by His fatherly hand. And that to me was just amazing, because I then began to slowly realise that nothing happened by chance. No stupid mistake I had ever made, no death in the past or to come, no sickness or anything that would ever fall was ever just by chance. That God, He controls and He orders all things, even the trials that He gives to us lovingly, because it tells us that He is good and He is wise, that they're all for our good and ultimately for His glory. And what a privilege it is to be part of God's plan. And I just know that definitely started to change my heart, and so that even in the small things like not being able to find keys or running around, or when you're stressed, or when even good things happen, amazing things that make your heart just so full, that everything is just in His providence and His sovereign control. And there's a real peace in that. You still have to be proactive about it. You still have to dive into scripture. You still have to read those verses. You still have to go to the Psalms and go to Romans and go to all, from front to back. You see all through the Bible that God is in control of everything, that even if you do make your stupid mistakes and say stupid things or do silly things, that God will use that for good. And that definitely has helped me to be content and to rest in knowing that a Father who loves me, who loves you, will work everything for good. And He did that. We see that on the cross. We see what people meant for wrong, God used for good in His sovereign control and His plan. And how amazing to rest in that. And I just hope that you guys can dive into the providence of God, let it sink into your heart, soak into your heart, and let it govern your life. Let that scripture on the mighty hand of God really, really govern your life, and just keep your path straight. Thank you. Bye.